obligation to prepare a 30B6 witness is pretty important, and we lawyers take it seriously because usually a witness will only have to be taken for 7 hours. They'll only have to be in the deposition chair, 7 hours on the record. But if they weren't adequately prepared on their topics, then they can be brought back for deposition. And as any good lawyer knows, it's very easy to lose one's case at deposition. Several years ago, I was working for the Lehman Estate, and it was about 2015, but all of the facts in the case were at 2008 when Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. Many of the questions, many of the topics that we needed to prepare our witnesses on were topics of what the state of affairs was back in 2008. The prep on that case was really interesting because we had to go back in history when thousands of employees were gone already and recreate as much as we could the situation in 2008. What we did is we collected as much of the documentation that we had about the way that they did things at Lehman Brothers back in the day. And then of course we did have some people that had worked there back in the day who could attest to the fact that they actually did follow these procedures and policies. And then what we did is, because the information was so voluminous, we actually prepared cheat sheets for our witnesses. And this is kind of unusual. Like, I had not seen this in another case, but to sit a 30B6 witness in a chair and have them talk about, you know, all of these practices and policies and make sure that they got everything right when really they're having to remember back to the extent they remember it at all, or they're basing it on, you know, let's say 100 documents that they're having to rely on to recreate what the state of affairs was at the time. That's really a heavy lift for any witness. It's exhausting. Testimony-wise, just remembering all that stuff and being able to spew it. And again, with a 30B6 witness, they can't just say, well, I don't know. They actually are supposed to know. They have a duty to be fully prepared on that topic and give the testimony that the company has on that topic. So it's not adequate to just have them sit there and be able to spew whatever they can remember. So I created these cheat sheets where I would have a list of topics and I would just share it with the other side, because it's not work product or anything. It's just like a cheat sheet that they can use to organize their thoughts, but it actually helps them to create the right questions that can elicit the information that we so painstakingly put together to make sure that we met our duty to prepare our 30B6s. And it worked really well. Rather than the witness feeling like it was totally out of control and they didn't know what was going to happen next, they could actually kind of almost lead the questioner through the topic in a way that the questioner got the information that they needed and the witness was competent and able to answer to a great number of different topics.